Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you my thoughts/analysis on the newly shown product images that Hasbro have just provided for the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Dropkick, Constructicon Hightower and Autobot Drift. These official in-packaged images give us our best look at the figures yet, as these are the final versions that are ready for mass release. It also gives us a good look at the CGI renders that will be featured on the packaging, as well as be able to make out the backdrops that these specific figures will also come with. The first figure that I'll be taking a look at is probably the most highly anticipated figure out of this particular wave, and that is the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Dropkick, as he appeared in the movie in his Vehicle Alt Mode. The original release that we got of this particular figure was of Dropkick in his Helicopter Alt Mode, whereas in this particular release we get him in his more accurate looking AMC Javelin Alternate Mode. Another reason why this figure is potentially a massive improvement over the original version is because the colouring of the figure is predominantly blue, much like we saw Dropkick in the movie. The original version was kind of this grey-like colour with some subtle hints of blue. This one definitely looks a lot more accurate and could potentially be the most accurate villain that we get from the Bumblebee toy line. I also really like the details in the head sculpt. The head sculpt looks a lot larger than the original release, which was really small, allowing the Hasbro to pack in a lot more detail as well as a lot more paint. I also like how the headlights of the vehicle become the chest. It makes him look a lot more aggressive and a lot more bulkier, much like we saw in the movie, and he will come with that kind of disintegration weapon that we see him use in order to destroy the humans within the movie. Furthermore, we can also see that the backdrop of this particular figure will come with is indeed the same one that we got with the Deluxe Class Shatter, in the sense that it is that kind of garage section that Dropkick and Shatter both scan their original Earth-based alternate modes at the beginning half of the movie. We can also see in the CGI render that it is solely based on his vehicle mode appearance as he first appeared when he landed on Earth, as opposed to with all the different helicopter bits. There is no propeller nor plain wheels in the centre of the chest. It is a solely based vehicle form. So therefore, to conclude this particular segment, I definitely think that this version of Dropkick is the superior version over the helicopter version. It even looks better than the Deluxe Class Shatter that we recently got, and it is definitely a lot more accurate than the actual Bumblebee figure himself, probably because Hasbro have had 4 months to work with the actual CGI design. Their original designs that they get are concept art, so they are subject to change throughout the process of the movie. So I would actually quite like to get a more updated jet version of Shatter in the future, and considering we've got 2 versions of Dropkick, I definitely think that that jet version of Shatter is inevitable. So personally, I highly recommend this particular figure based on these particular photos that we have. It definitely does look a lot better in this in-packaged image than it did at Toy Fair, as we didn't really get a great look at it. It was under really dark lighting. The more brighter photo allows you to see a lot more detail, and it definitely does match the standard of the Studio Series. The next figure I'll be taking a look at is the Transformers Studio Series Constructicon Hightower. Now this is probably one of the most anticipated releases out of this particular wave, due to the simple fact that it is actually one of the limbs that will form the mighty Constructicon Devastator that the Studio Series have been hyping up since the beginning of this year. And this figure definitely looks really well. It definitely appears to match the standard of the other Constructicons that we've got, and it does definitely seem to be quite a large deluxe, as they have mistransformed the legs in order to fit it into the packaging. From this particular image, I can make out that the base section of the figure is this really thick, very heavy duty locking mechanism, so we'll be sure to see that this figure will be made out of extremely high quality plastic, and that when Devastator is fully combined, there will be no separating his joints with ease. Everything will probably lock in really securely, allowing the actual Devastator figure himself to be really sturdy and very enjoyable. As you can see from the CG render that we have of this particular figure, it does definitely match that of the toy. This is a made up figure specifically for this Studio Series toy line, so it didn't actually appear in the movie. However, I do believe that it was an initial concept, and the backdrop that this particular figure will come with is the same that we got with all of the other Constructicons, in the sense that it will be that desert battle. So overall, basing my opinions on this official image, this is definitely a figure that you're going to want to pick up, especially if you're completing the Studio Series Devastator. I was a fan of this particular release as soon as it was revealed at Toy Fair, as I really like its very abstract looking design. When the figure is properly set up, it does look like that of a T-Rex, so it will definitely look very abstract and will fit in with your movieverse Decepticons, as the Decepticons in the movies were always quite odd looking. This particular figure is the upper arm section of Devastator, and it will actually combine with the already released Deluxe Class Scrap Metal. So when you pick this figure up, and if you already have scrap metal, you'll begin to gather a sense of what Devastator will look like when he's fully completed. The final figure that we have official images of is the Studio Series Deluxe Class Drift in his helicopter form. Now I personally am quite pleased that we've got a version of Drift in his helicopter form over his Bugatti version, as in the Age of Extinction toy line we never really got a proper release of Drift in the helicopter mode. It was a retool of a Voyager class figure from the Dark of the Moon line, and it really didn't scale very well with the other figures. This particular release is really well done. That propeller section that we saw in the official images previously is actually removable, so we won't have a massive propeller section section sticking off the side of the arm. He will come with some missile pods which are detachable, as well as 4 different blades which will form the rotor section of the vehicle mode, and the legs seem to be a heavy retool of Deluxe Class Dropkick's helicopter legs. However, the main base of the figure is a brand new mould, and the transformation definitely looks really interesting. I really do like the paint applications that they've used. They've used a more accurate black colour with the blue turquoise paint over the top, as opposed to using a darker blue much like we got on the original toy. This figure looks really well done, and it will definitely be a great entry into the Studio Series toy line. The backdrop that this specific figure appears to come with is that of the scene from when the Autobots reunite in Age of Extinction, and it is the kind of mountains of Monument Valley where we see Drift kind of say, "At last there is hope." He flips over and transforms into his helicopter mode in order to rendezvous with the other Autobots. I think that this is a great scene, as it is probably the most memorable scene we have of Drift actually utilising his helicopter mode, as I believe the only other time we see it is when he uses it in order to help Bumblebee gain access into the Care-Side facility. So the Monument Valley scene is definitely the most memorable scene that we have from the movie, and it's probably one of the best scenes out of the entire movie. So there you have it. Those are my initial thoughts and feelings on the brand new release Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class figures for the third wave of 2019 figures. All of these I think are fantastic. This is another really strong wave. Obviously you have to pick up Hightower in order to complete Devastator, so he is a must have. I think that Drift is a massive improvement over the original version that we've got. It definitely looks a lot more accurate and will scale a lot better with your other figures. And as for Dropkick, as I stated, I do think he's the best villain that we've got out of the Studio Series toy line for the Bumblebee movie. He does look really accurate and is a massive improvement over the helicopter release we've got. The paint applications as well as the details seem to have been amplified a lot better, and the figure looks really solid. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know down in the comment section below, and until my next video, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.